Hi everybody. Today's video is going to be a little more serious and educational, but try not to worry, I'm not going to make you feel like the world's going to end or anything. It's going to be okay. I am going to look at a video from a very long time ago today. If you just saw my face on the other side of the screen here, you might remember it from forever ago if you watched this video yourself. This is the video that let me start a career as a content creator, and I've been making content now for 17 years. To be fair, this video was not at the beginning of that number. It was quite a few years in. I was 19 years old, I think, when I recorded that. And I remember I had just gotten ready to go to work at Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a Canadian pharmacy with a beauty section in their store, kind of like American Walgreens, I think. And I worked at the beauty counter there. And every time I would go to work, I would try in that like 20-minute window before I went to work to record something quick on my camera so that I could get YouTube videos made. And that's a super nostalgic time for me. But I remember when I recorded that video, I didn't expect it to go really anywhere. I was just frankly getting bombarded with questions about my face because I looked different from other people because of Waardenburg syndrome, which was not something that I had seen anybody talk about at all. Literally, if you looked up Waardenburg syndrome on YouTube, you would get at that time maybe a couple of medical videos, literally nothing from the personal lived experience of a person with Waardenburg syndrome. And I really wanted there to be a resource for people, specifically for people like me, for people with Waardenburg syndrome, so that when they looked themselves up, when they looked up Waardenburg syndrome, they actually got something personal instead of just these really kind of distant medical textbook kind of things that made it feel even more sort of estranging from the rest of the humanity than the experience already could be, just simply by the way that we are treated. Things have probably gotten a lot better for people since then with Waardenburg syndrome because there are videos, not only from me, but from many other creators over time, addressing what it is, addressing the lived experience of it, and helping to normalize it and demystify it a little bit. But I wanted today to go back and revisit this video and react to it with all of you, just to see how my perspective might have changed, because this video is from, let's see, 11 years ago. As of recording this video, it's sitting at 10,130,237 views. Apparently it was posted February 1st, 2015. Wild. 11 years ago, let me think, I would have been 19. What's 30 minus 11? I was 19. I am excited to see this. I haven't watched it again really at length since I posted it. I didn't even know how long it was. It's only 9 minutes long. YouTube was a different world back then. I don't really know what else to say to preface this, but I think it's good for us just to get started. I'm going to put the video next to me as well so you can follow along in real time. So I'm going to shimmy over a little bit so that you can see what I see as we watch. So I guess without further ado, here we go. Maybe I listen with an earbud so that you can have good audio quality. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to press play now. Hi everybody. Today's video is going to be a little bit more serious and educational, but try not to worry. I'm not going to make you feel like the world's going to end or anything. It's going to be okay. I've been reading your comments and things as you post them, and I really like to hear from you and hear, you know, what you like and what you don't like about pretty much everything. I just wanted to touch base on a recurring theme that I'm seeing in a lot of comments. There's quite a few comments about my appearance, which I don't mind. It's good and bad. Either way, you know what? I'm fine. I don't care. Mostly good though, so thank you. Mostly good though, so thank you. So little disclaimer here. I did care. And sometimes, to be honest, I still do a little bit. I was, again, 19 years old when I made this video, so I was trying really hard not to care. But honestly, the comments get to you, no matter what it is. Whether it's, I guess this would qualify as ableism, right? Because it's like usually derogatory comments about my appearance, especially at this time, in regards to a genetic mutation, right? But, you know, whether it's transphobia, homophobia, racism, whatever, you can get used to it and you can expect it. It doesn't mean you don't care or it doesn't feel bad still. And I'm about to say in this video, like, it's not always bad comments, right? I'm going to talk about some positives, and that's nice. And I really had to learn to take that in. But when I say I don't care, I was trying to be honest, but I don't think I really knew at that age exactly how much I did care. It really affected me, which is why I made this video. And I'm proud of what I was able to achieve with this. So let's keep watching. But the two things I hear most often are, number one, you look like a beautiful elven prince. Number two, you look like an alien. Can we just take a moment for the millennial core moment? You can roast me for that if you like to. And whether you believe the first, the second, or both, which is also fine, I'm just here to explain to you why my face looks so unique. I know it does. I'm not stupid. But unique is not synonymous with bad, and bad is not synonymous with unique, and oranges and apples and toast and butter and pause. This is before I had been known as bread mom. I did like toast and butter. I still do, girl. I still do. One thing I want to say though is I guess I'm seeing how far content creation has come. I'm noticing that in this video, like I never used to script anything, right? But I wouldn't even have bullet points at this point. I just turned the camera on and tried to talk about a thought. I'm seeing a lot of these like circular statements like bad is not synonymous with unique. Unique is not synonymous with bad. Like, girl, I don't know why we got to repeat this. But my point stands, okay? Which is that at the time especially, we were only starting online, at least in my perception of the internet, 2015, of being able to see and embrace differences in people instead of seeing them and pointing them out and making it like a big thing. And I know that when I was younger, I would really gravitate towards artists and characters and things in media where there was an emphasis placed on what made people different. And I think that during that time period, there was a lot of that in media, even like being different is good, you know, be yourself. I have to say, growing up in the time period before that, that was not a message we really got. Not in my experience. Some of this at this time, I think, can feel a little, maybe common sense or maybe a little like, I'm not sure what the word is, but I think that's because we've continued to talk about things in this way, that things have gotten better for people that are different. And I'm glad. Basically, I have a genetic mutation called Waardenburg syndrome. It sounds scary when you say genetic mutation. It sounds scary when you say syndrome, but it literally is extremely minor. I function normally. Like, I'm getting into these ableist terms now, like, I'm part of the X-Men. That's all you need to know. Okay, so I do like owning that I'm part of the X-Men. I used to want to in my early transition. Actually, I want to talk about that too. But in my early transition, I used to think, like, I would love to play Rogue in a Marvel movie, right? Still would love that. You know, you can call me Marvel. My email's in my, you know, I'll take whatever acting lessons you want me to, okay? But I think identifying with being a mutant in a way that wasn't, like, mean and like maliciously directed at me was a really healthy step for me. Acknowledging, yes, I have a genetic mutation and I like it was like a huge adjustment for me at that time. There was a time when I would try to figure out a way to see myself as normal, even just like I did in that video with the air quotes. And it doesn't work because I'm not, because I have a genetic mutation and it may be genetic, like as in it runs in my family. There's other people that look like me. There's strangers on the internet that look like me. And I can find that sort of sense of familiarity. But I still, when I look at myself next to others, notice that I look different and that is okay. And I think embracing that versus trying to make myself look like others was the healthiest thing I ever did. And it started really around this time when I recorded this video. And I'm grateful for that. The other thing I wanted to say regarding my transition is it's so interesting, like watching this video, because I'm obviously in full glam in this video. My hair is dyed, actually not that different from what it is right now, which is hilarious. But I'm clearly not presenting the same. And I've come a long way. It's nice to see that when I look at this video. I think at this time when I recorded this video, I saw myself as a man. I saw myself as like a gender fluid, maybe non-binary-ish man. I really didn't know that I was trans yet. I think I was kind of at the beginning of that understanding. I knew that I liked presenting feminine. I very much definitely wore eyeliner and makeup and like I was very much in that world, but I hadn't really fully understood who I was yet. And it's such a process, right? It's just cool to see. And it's cool to see what hasn't changed when I watch this as well as what has. Because like, look at that chain I'm wearing in that video. I mean, it's not the same chain, but she still got the gold hardware. All right, well, let's keep watching. Essentially, it affects my facial structure, the pigmentation in my body and my hair and my skin and everything, and also my hearing. I inherited this from my mother's side of the family, so a lot of us on her side look very similar. We have extremely similar faces, and it's just sort of common for people with Waardenburg syndrome to look similar. Like there are people halfway across the planet with a very similar face to me. And I think that's really interesting because, you know, I'll see them online or out and about, which is, you know, rare. I've only seen 4 or 5 people outside of my family with Waardenburg syndrome ever. Pause. Out and about. Beautiful Canadian accent, my girl. Love it. Love it. If you guys ever, if you're watching my videos and you hear the Canadian accent come out, I want you to point it out. I want you to point and laugh. You don't have to point and laugh, but I love being Canadian. I love hearing that accent when it comes through, but I don't always hear it, like, because I'm so used to it. But if you see it and you want to make a point of it, I would appreciate it. Okay, resuming.
So it's really interesting when I get to see somebody and I know, like, I get your struggle. I get you. I know you, you know?
When I say that, I get your struggle. I think for me, having Waardenburg syndrome was associated so much with having social struggle. Because from the earliest age where kids could make a distinction about me, it was made. Probably around the same time they start learning behaviors like ableism, racism, you know, these different ways of categorizing people into acceptable and not acceptable. So when I say I get your struggle, when I see another person with Waardenburg syndrome, I think at that time, my only possible perception of that was I get that people have been horrible to you. And I hope that's not still true. I hope it's not. I see lots of beautiful, beautiful people with Waardenburg syndrome posting online, especially in the beauty world. Like, I think there's something about looking different that makes us gravitate towards things like beauty and self-expression. But you know, I hope that there are people with Waardenburg syndrome that haven't had to deal with rude and malicious bullshit. I hope so. I don't know. If you have Waardenburg syndrome and you're watching this and that is true for you, please let me know. It would make me really happy to know that. Let's continue.
With my face, what Waardenburg's has affected is basically the width of everything. So I'm sure you guys have noticed that my eyes are spaced considerably apart. And honestly, like, the way I think of this now is like, it's like telling somebody they have a big nose. I know. I think it looks great. I don't care. But I want to make sure you guys know everything what's going on here. You know, I just want to make sure you guys know what's going on. To cover a lot of ground all at once, it's widened my eyes, my lips don't have any cupid's bow. I don't know if you can see that. I'm looking at the screen, that's taboo. But like, yeah, there's no cupid's bow here, right? So it's more flat, which means whenever I do big drag lips, I have a really nice 1940s smear, which makes me very happy. As far as the spacing of my eyes goes, because this is usually what people target and, like, you know, viciously attack about me, it took me a long time when I was younger to learn to ignore people's comments, because the more I acted, you know, hurt, and the more I was visibly wounded by these people, the more they would do it. So my confidence was whittled down to almost nothing.
Okay, pause, hold on. When I said I had to learn to ignore people's comments, right? That was an ongoing thing. I think at this point I'm fine. Like, I'll address it sometimes. I recently had a short go viral on like every platform where I addressed somebody asking how my eyes did that, right? And I still constantly get like Sid the Sloth reaction images and GIFs and shit below my posts and whatever. I, at this point, don't care, because you know who else gets that? Anya Taylor-Joy. So I don't believe people if they use that as like a direct, like as an insult. I'm like, listen, I don't like, it just doesn't work anymore. But I think that this is still really, really important, okay? No matter what it is. And I think especially as a creator, when our content, and you know, if you're not a creator, you can apply this to, I guess, the content of your mind, what you're letting in and what you're thinking about. When the content of your mind or on your feed is all about addressing and you know, smacking back at people that are trying to make you feel bad, your life becomes defensive. Your life becomes about defending yourself. There's no space there to just celebrate yourself if that's all that's happening. And so if you experience this on any level in regards to something about yourself, your identity, your appearance, I really encourage you, even if things bother you, to pick your battles when it comes to addressing them or when it comes to clapping back. Because if it's all you do, it's going to be all you do. And it's going to be the only thing that you think about in relation to that feature or that part of yourself. So be careful with that, okay? Let's continue.
Until I started working with makeup, which is why I love makeup so much, is because, you know, I can alter my face, but I've come to love my eye shape now. And it was something before that I felt, you know, like I put makeup on and then it's different, but now I like my eyes regardless of whether I have makeup on or not. I like them both ways. My nose too, I don't know if you guys see this little cute little thing on my face here. And so there's no bump or bridge or ridge or this, it's just sort of a slope. And that's from Waardenburg syndrome, is it gives you this sloped, sort of elven shaped nose. It's really convenient for me, seeing as I'm actually, you know, an elf. So everything else with my face, besides the width of my eyes, my lip shape, and my nose, is just normal genetic traits, just from my background. Another thing that Waardenburg syndrome does is it drastically increases the rate at which your hair grows. That means this hair too.
Girl, pause. I forgot about this. I actually forgot about this for the longest time, but then every time I go back to my hairdresser, she's like, what the fuck? Why is your hair so... Like, it will grow so much in a year. Like, I had it cut, like, probably about this length, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. It just, and this is after many bleaches And like I keep getting trims and stuff. It just grows like crazy. The thing is, and I'm probably going to address this in the video in a second, it also affects things like facial hair and eyebrows. So it can be a pain in the butt, blessing and a curse, you know, pros and cons. But yes, it does make my hair grow faster. It's crazy. Let's continue.
Because when I moved to Toronto, everything was almost buzz cut except for this, which was about here. This happened in about a year and I've had one haircut. So that's like a foot, I feel. I'm not really positive. I don't measure. Numbers are not my talent, okay? But I know my hair grows very fast. Scientist. I have to pluck my eyebrows every day. I have to shave every day. That's why in some videos I look like Thor, and then the next video I look like a fairy elf princess. Like, so
no Thor anymore, girl.
Moving on to the pigmentation in my body, the number one thing a lot of people will notice immediately is the eye color. That is my natural eye color. It's been that way since I was born. It's just basically, it's like the absence of color in my eyes. That's why it's blue, but it's very translucent. So that's why with direct sunlight, they look extremely bright. And it's not that I've, you know, photoshopped them. It's not that I am wearing a colored contact lens. It's just the light is just reflecting 1,000 different ways at once.
That is true. It is not that there is blue pigment, it is the absence of pigment. And that I recorded this video in direct sunlight. At this time in my life, I always recorded in front of a window because I liked the way that the natural light and the sun made me look. Nowadays, I record in very controlled lighting, so they look less bright. I think they still look pretty blue, but sunlight does crazy shit to my eyes and I love it. It's really nice. Like I'm very happy about that. I feel like that's true for every eye color though. You ever see like beautiful brown eyes in light and they turn into that golden, gorgeous, like beautiful, like, oh, it's like, oh, listen. Incredible. Okay, let's continue.
Another thing that's really interesting is the white forelock of hair. So I'm looking in the camera right now and I can't really, I just bleached my, sorry, ALB bleached my hair last night. Thank you, lady, I love you. I have a natural white hair growth about right here. This all naturally grows in completely white. And it's been that way forever. The rest of it naturally grows in a dark brown.
Yes, it has been that way forever. But what's so cool and to get to see in real time here is that it expands. At the time of recording that video, it really was just like maybe this much in the front that was white. But as you can see, it grows white now down the sides of my temples. And it grows white really far back as well into my scalp. Like it's really spreading. I used to think I'd be full white by the time I was 30. Clearly that time has come and gone. I'm going to be 31 in a few months. But maybe by the time I'm 40. We'll see. We'll see. Let's continue.
But again, I just colored my hair, so you can't really tell. But right here is all white, like Rogue from X-Men. If you guys know Rogue, that's me. That's my sister. That's my mother. It's me. Now, lastly, and I feel pretty importantly, Waardenburg syndrome affects your hearing, right? So it affects everybody differently. For example, myself, I'm deaf only in my left ear. My mother, for example, has full hearing. She's got Waardenburg syndrome as well.
I still have to do that sometimes. But you know what? What really helped me was I got a tattoo behind my left ear that is like the mute sign for like muting audio. And so when my hair's up in a ponytail, which is like my dream hair is a high pony, slick back high pony. When my hair gets long enough, I will do nothing else, okay? Since doing that tattoo, I feel like it's easier for me to remember what side it is. I don't have to check as much. One thing that happens though sometimes is I'll be doing like a mirrored selfie video or whatever, and I'll say my left ear, and they're like, that's your right. Like I get like hundreds of comments of people saying, that's your right ear. Oh, she pointed out her right ear. I'm like, guys, do you really think I don't know left from right? Like in a pre-recorded edited video, you don't think I can determine what left from right is? Cameras can be mirrored, girl. It's okay. Let's resume.
But my cousin is completely deaf, and he was born with that as well. So everybody with Waardenburg syndrome, for everything, including facial structure, hearing, pigmentation, there's a degree. There's a degree to everybody. It doesn't affect my life too much. The only time when it really impairs me is in like large open classrooms. For example, during high school I had quite a bit of trouble with that, but I made it work. Gymnasiums, there's too much echoing happening. In large crowded restaurants or bars or clubs, I don't enjoy myself because I don't know what is happening at all. There's so much background noise, and it's like, imagine if every sound you ever hear is coming at you right here, and it's all right here. Yeah. That's every day. So if I'm in a large crowded bar, I don't know who's saying what, where it's coming from. I have no idea what's happening. So those situations make me really anxious and panicky.
This was true. The hearing is still true. That's still how I experience it. But what I've gotten more comfortable with doing as like a more fully realized adult is saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm deaf. I can't hear you. Or, hey, I'm sorry, I'm hard of hearing. Can you repeat that? Like if I'm in a bar or a restaurant or a club and it's loud and I can't hear what they're saying, I just say, I'm sorry, I'm deaf. Sometimes I'll say I'm deaf in this ear and I have to like turn. It's weird because like the server will be like, let's say they're here right beside me. And you'd think I would hear them, right? But then what I have to do is angle my head like this. And it kind of looks like I'm going in to like nuzzle their neck or something. It doesn't. I just get like, I'm like, what are you like? Are they going to think that? So I'm always, first I say, I'm sorry, I'm deaf in this ear. Then I just turn my head. It's that simple. It really is that simple. But when I was younger, I felt like I couldn't ask for accommodation. I didn't even consider to ask for accommodation. I felt like it was just too overwhelming in the moment to figure that out. It didn't even cross my mind. But nowadays, yes, it still impacts me in that way. I just ask people to adjust. And nobody's ever had a problem with that. The other area where it does impact me is social situations. I can sometimes mess things up because I don't hear. And it can make me look rude. And that kind of bums me out. So one example I have is I was at the Canadian Game Awards recently for 2020. It was a 2026 ceremony for 2025. I was nominated as Creator of the Year alongside 3 other individuals. The man that won, Victor Lucas, incredible Canadian gaming icon, fully deserved it, was super happy for him. After, I went up to take a picture with him and somebody else, a gentleman, offered to take the photo for us. And I said, thank you. And, he took the picture. And then I was speaking with Victor and the gentleman asked me something and I couldn't hear what he asked. He was very soft-spoken and like very polite, right? And so I thought he was asking if he could take a picture with Victor, like if I could move over. And I was like, yeah, totally. And I just kind of put my hands up and walked backwards. It turns out he was asking me to take the picture for him. And so I looked like, I was like, no. But I was trying to be polite and like accommodating to him because I thought he just wanted the spot, right? And thankfully, my friend Camille stepped in. Love you, Camille, if you're watching. She stepped in, took the picture for him. But there was no way for me in that moment to really succinctly say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm deaf. I didn't hear you. I didn't mean to reject you asking me to take your picture for you. It just looked like I rejected taking the picture for him, not only to that man, but also the Canadian gaming icon that I was taking a picture with. Like, I was so embarrassed. But I just try in those moments to accept, like, things are not black and white. Everybody will understand that. Nobody has to know exactly what was happening. If they judge me for it, it's okay. It's not really my fault. It was loud. But I think that's the worst of it. And if that's the worst of it, that's not bad. You know what I mean? Let's continue.
Because I feel like I have no control over what's happening because I don't know what is happening. So that's why I tend to prefer quieter, smaller activities because I can understand what's going on.
Pause. I do like a quiet activity, but I have to admit, after accepting that I could ask for accommodation, I love loud things way more. I, in my early 20s, loved dancing. I loved going out with my friends to the club and dancing. I loved the music being so loud because here's the thing, as a deaf person, I like feeling it. If I can feel the music, like the vibrations, and I know everybody, if they like loud music, they like the vibrations. This isn't just a deaf or a half deaf or a hard of hearing thing, but there's something about it for me that feels like I'm getting to experience it the way it was intended to be experienced. Because music in other environments where it's, I guess, localized somewhere in the space, versus when it is in the room and also in the walls and also in the floor. I love feeling that bass travel up my legs and into my body. Like, oh my goodness. So when I say I like quiet activities at the time, that was true. I literally remember running away from a party once when I was just a little bit younger than this, maybe 18, because I was so overwhelmed with anxiety. It was a house party with a bunch of young like college kids. It was brought there by a friend. And I literally ran away. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It's not a metaphor. I physically ran away. Nowadays, at worst, I just look a little awkward and I try to tell people I'm deaf. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I do love loud music and I love loud activities and I love the energy of that. It just took a while for me to feel comfortable, I guess, relinquishing that control of the environment, right? But it's a process. Let's continue.
Similarly, if you're walking with me, for example, and you're on my left side, I will run into you.
This is still true.
Many times. Yeah, it's almost like I can see you, I know you're there, but my body isn't getting the right cues. It's not understanding that your footsteps are in a certain spot. So I kind of I swerve this way constantly. It's really inconvenient, but it doesn't really, like, I've got it under control. It's just if you're walking right next to me, I'm gonna hit you.
Pause. This is true. It's still true to this day. That's why I got that mute symbol tattoo I was referring to, is so that if my hair's up, other people can see what side to go on, right? Nowadays, I basically, like, I got all of my tattoos on my right side for a reason. The only tattoo on the left side of my body is the mute symbol. So the easy language that I tell people close to me is walk on the side of me that's tattooed. Generally, people that know me really well, we just fall into the right position. But it's funny. It still happens sometimes with new people. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm deaf in this ear. Can I walk on the other side of you? A recurring theme I'm noticing in watching this is that I used to not ask for accommodation for my deafness. I think I didn't realize how much of that I could do and how much people would actually just be okay with that. I don't think I ever realized when I was younger how disabling it truly was to be deaf. I think because I'm only half deaf, I think I sometimes feel like I'm not allowed to claim deafness, but like there's no hearing in this ear. If I can't claim deafness, who can? Sometimes people will say to me in comments and stuff when I talk about Waardenburg syndrome, they'll say, "Oh, I'm sorry for your hearing." I think that's so interesting because I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel sad about it. I've never known anything else. Do you know what I mean? I didn't lose my hearing. I just never had it. And so when people say, "I'm sorry that it did this to you," or something, I'm like, girl, it's like saying, "I'm sorry for your genes." Like, it kind of low key is a little insulting. I don't feel insulted. I'm not offended. I'm never going to tell somebody that they're being insulting because I know it comes from a good place, right? I want to make that very clear. I'm not like hurt, but it's like, it's okay. It really is fine. Like, nobody needs to apologize to me for being deaf. It's really fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I just think it's interesting. I think the biggest difference when I'm watching this is how I interact with my deafness. Let's continue.
I really just wanted to make this video because I felt like, when I was 11 and 12 and 13, when I was really struggling with my confidence, with my appearance, there was nobody that I could find anywhere online, in the media, anywhere that had a face like mine. So I just want you to know that we exist, we're out there, we have beautiful faces, you have a beautiful face, I want you to know that you have a beautiful face, and if you don't think you do, you will one day, and I can't wait for that moment to happen for you, because it can be very hard to get there. But there's no feeling like it, really.
Pause. That touched my little heart a little bit, okay? I remember being young. The moment that I was thinking about in this video when I recorded it, the old one, I still remember that moment all the time. And it was a moment when I was maybe 12 or 13. And I remember I looked in the mirror and I was so horrified by the way that I looked that I had a panic attack. I was hyperventilating. Like, I could not look at myself because I had internalized every message that I'd received from my peers, from people, bullies, whatever, that I was ugly and different and monstrous and wrong. And so when I say there's nothing quite like it, I think what I mean is there's nothing quite like accepting yourself. There's nothing quite like being at peace with yourself. And it's interesting that journey for me existed not just with Waardenburg syndrome, but also with being trans. There's so many layers of that for me when I think about that message of, like, you will think of yourself as beautiful. I think that that's really core and important. And sometimes I think that when I say that, people might interpret it as beauty is important, but that's not the message so much as it is that beauty should not be purely dependent on like Eurocentric beauty standards. Beauty isn't about beauty standards. Beauty standards are an unfortunate thing that is used to get us to spend money, to get us to feel certain types of way about ourselves and others. Beauty to me isn't the same thing. Beauty is an expression. It is art. It is soulful, and it isn't contingent on the way that you look naturally at all. It also, to me, isn't even about being hot or attractive. To me, I think beauty is about expressing who you are in a soulful way and an honest way, outwardly. And that doesn't have to be with makeup or hair or fashion. That can be with the way that you carry yourself. It can be with the way that you act. It can be with the way that you treat others. Beauty is a feeling. It's beautiful. That's a feeling. That isn't just a visual trait. And when I at that time felt beautiful. It wasn't about thinking that I looked good to other people. It was about feeling at home in my body and feeling like I was okay. I was gonna be okay. Like I was worthy to be there on the world, on the earth. And of course, nowadays I work in beauty and gaming, which to me is very intertwined. Gaming gives so many opportunities for self-expression, whether it's role-playing games where you create your character, other games where you can choose your loadout or your build for an activity, whatever it is, there's expression in it, right? And beauty to me is about expression as well. To me, those things are just parallel. There's no bridging that. It's already bridged. But I like to say that I bridge those worlds. That said, I think that little me in this video, 19 years old, if they could see what they were doing now, if she could see what I'm doing now, I feel I would like to think that she would be so freaking excited about that, because she loved all the same things that I do. And she would go through a phase in a little while after this video where she would reject certain parts of herself to be more acceptable. You know, the lessons that she learned about her face, she would have to learn again about who she was, her personality, her interests. But she would. And it always comes back to, you are beautiful. If you don't believe so yet, you will, whether that's about your face or who you are as a person or just your existence on this world. It's got me in my feelings. Let's continue.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but it's just, I feel achieved. There's something really empowering about looking very different from everybody around you. And I don't know how to explain that to somebody that's self-conscious about it, but you will find it one day, I think. And it's really exciting.
Pause. That's so interesting. I could see my little 19-year-old brain trying to, like, the gears were turning, but I couldn't express it. There's something really empowering about looking different from the people around you. Okay, let me try this again. It boils down to the message of, you know, standing out is a good thing. I think as a creator, I spent the last 6 years trying to be very cookie cutter, video game content creator, posting reviews and things, and I would try to weave in beauty and do like get ready with me game reviews. There's a bunch of videos like that on this channel that never passed like even 5,000 views. I used to think that was because I was washed up, and it has been. But I think the thing is, the second I embraced looking different from other people, and I don't want to quite say made a point of it, but like acknowledged it, I saw more success again, numerically. And I want to be clear that that's not all there is, you know. I want to also feel like integrity and good about what I'm creating, and I want to be creating what I want to be creating. I think knowing exactly what that is can be complicated, but I know that I want to talk about Waardenburg syndrome. I want to talk about being trans. These are parts of me that I can't ignore, and other people see the second they look at me, at least the Waardenburg syndrome thing. I am okay with that. As far as it being empowering goes, from an arts perspective, from a creator perspective, even fashion, beauty, whatever, if you walk into a room and people notice you because you look different, that is an asset that you can use, whether that is a genetic mutation, your hair, you know, your skin, your body shape, whatever it is, whatever sets you apart from others can be beautiful and wonderful. And while we may not want to be objectified for it, or be reduced to a physical trait, if you can learn to embrace it and angle it in a way that will help you achieve what you want, it can be a tool and an asset and help you as well to continue to feel better about it, rather than it being something that you feel holds you back. And this, I think, can be true for many different things. Of course, there is going to be context and details to every situation with every different person. I really believe that if there is something that sets you apart from the people around you in your environment, it can be a hurdle, but it can also be an asset. And it can be challenging to figure out how to do that. There may be obstacles. I'm not saying it's easy 1, 2, 3. But I know that I would not be where I am today as a creator if I wasn't trans and if I didn't have Waardenburg syndrome. And that's just the truth. That's kind of weird to think about, but it's true. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just there's a radical acceptance that has to take place of who you are. And I know if I wasn't a trans person with Waardenburg syndrome, I wouldn't be Stef Sanjati. I would be somebody else. So whatever you are, whoever you are, like, embrace that, lean into it, and rock it. Rock the shit out of it, okay? Let's continue.
So that's all I can really think of to explain right now, but if you guys have questions, just feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll get to them, I promise. I love talking to you.
Still true.
If you're curious though, you can always research online. There's lots of information. There's many types of Waardenburgs. I went over a very basic kind of broad spectrum kind of thing. So definitely if you have questions or you're curious, there's so much information out there. I'm gonna put some links in the info box below that you can check out if you really are interested. That being said, if I find any hateful comments below, I will be removing them because I expect lots of young people with Waardenburg syndrome to find this video, and I do not need your hateful thoughts poisoning their mind and poisoning their thoughts on themselves, because that's just not, it doesn't need to happen.
I'm proud of me, girl. Oh my God, what an emotionally intelligent little 19-year-old. It really was about that. I was used to people saying mean shit to me about my face, but in that moment, I thought of a young 12-year-old kid that was hyperventilating in the mirror, finding my video and then reading the comments and seeing somebody saying something mean again, and it just ruining any progress they might have made watching that video with themselves, with how they feel about themselves. I love that. I stand by that. Sometimes nowadays, if a video gets a lot of attention, like at the time that I recorded this video, I could not fathom the idea of over 60,000 comments on a video, which is how many this has. I could not fathom it. But I remember sifting through hundreds or thousands of comments and deleting them on this video when it was new, because I really meant that. It was really important to me, and it still is. I really want kids with Waardenburg syndrome. I think I said this earlier in the video. Like, if you've had the experience of growing up and not being treated horribly, I want to know that, because it would make me feel like something I did maybe helped somebody go through less bullshit than I had to, and that's what it's about. Let's continue.
I would love to hear, any questions you have, but just be respectful, because if you are not, I will just remove it and that will be the end of it. I just don't have any patience for that anymore. So, I guess I'm finished. Until next time, I'll see you all later. I hope you have a wonderful evening and everything. Bye.
Sweet baby.
Oh, hair up or hair down? Yeah, well. This is the struggle.
Okay. I still have that. I was like, before the video, I was like, do I do like that's severe. That's cute, right? But then I ultimately, I'm the same person. Jesus. I swear to God, for 15 minutes before I pressed the record button, I was just doing this. Like, where do I do it like this? Anyway, thank you for watching this little retrospective on this viral video of mine from 11 years ago. I am so grateful I took the time to make that video, because it changed my life in so many ways. Number one, being able to become a full-time content creator. I remember the first ad revenue check that came in was like over double what I made at Shoppers in a month as like a minimum wage, not quite full-time employee. And this was, again, 11 years ago. That is not to say anything negative about that job or how much I was being paid. It purely was, at that time, YouTube ad revenue was crazy. It was crazy. And for a video to get millions of views like that was definitely hugely life-changing. I remember deciding at that point, I either double down on this and it becomes my full-time job, or I don't and I lose that opportunity. It passes me by. Do I follow the momentum and make it happen? Or do I stick to the plan, which was to be a makeup artist working on set for film, television, editorial, magazine, whatever, bridal, whatever. And I took that risk and it paid off. And here I am at 30, still being a creator, still talking about this, but not in a way where I'm just regurgitating it. Like, it feels like I continue to evolve with all of you. And the other thing that I think is so profound and why I'm so grateful is that it introduced me to all of you. Whether you're a returning viewer or not, like, you came here because you clicked on the video. And I have met so many wonderful people. I've certainly met less wonderful people too, but I have met more wonderful, great people that have given some true light and joy into my life because I got to do this for my work. And I will never be able to repay what that has brought my life. I'm trying to think of if there's, anything that I didn't talk about in that first video that I wanted to address, but I think I really nailed it the first time. I remember I did 1 or 2 follow-up videos over the years because people would always have questions. So if you have questions, let me know and I'll see if I can do another video following up with answering your most common questions about Waardenburg syndrome. As of right now, I think the most important things were said. It's always been about, for me, embracing who I am and helping others to do the same. And I am really glad that I've been able to see over the years people with Waardenburg syndrome or parents with children that have Waardenburg syndrome reach out to me and ask me questions or say, you know, thank you for posting that. Like I felt like I could finally see somebody with my face. I cannot tell you how much it makes my day when I'm scrolling on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, or I get a DM from somebody random across the world saying, I have Waardenburg's too. I love it. Please, if you have Waardenburg syndrome, DM me. Anywhere. I want to know. I want us to be in connection, okay? With all that said, I guess this is where I leave you for now. So until next time, just remember, there is something special about you, whether you can see it or not, and one day it will be the thing that propels you towards your dreams. Okay? I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I will see you again very soon. If you'd like to catch me live, I'm on Twitch at least twice a week, up to 4 times a week. Twitch.tv/Stef Sanjati, where I stream games and chat a lot actually lately. And you can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, all those other places. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here. I love you so much. Bye!